Harry Smith, news director. Yeah, this is the most we've spent in studio together in quite some time. It's a lot of quality time. But a lot going on here. Santa Clarita City Council, of course, having vacated one of the seats, Dante Acosta. Is it a move up to the assembly?
State assembly. It's so geographically, he's going to Sacramento.
That's right. So we have a vacancy that the city has opened up for applicants rather than having anybody run or a traditional type of election process. So this has been pretty fascinating. 50 applicants, am I right?
50.
And so we've had the opportunity at least to speak to a few this morning. I know you'll have more this afternoon, so it'll be quite busy. But we have Mark Hershey with us, am I right?
Yes, Lieutenant Hershey, thank you for coming down and agreeing to talk to us on the air.
Thank you very much for having me.
And for those who our listeners haven't met you before or heard their name, you've worked out in the community before. Tell me a little bit about your background in the Santa Clarita Valley.
And so I was with the Sheriff's Department for 30 years, and my last 6 years I was stationed as the watch commander at Santa Clarita Sheriff's Station. I'm also involved with when my kids are growing with the AOSO program. And I coached soccer and refereed. I helped a guy establish the AOSO 1441 region. I was a treasurer there for a couple of years. I made a brand new region in Castaic. And I've lived in pretty much every little area of this valley. I've lived in Castaic. Saug is where I mostly grew up. I graduated from Hart. I lived in Newhall, Canyon Country, right now in Fair Oaks.
So you're from here. You've always lived
I moved here. My family moved here in 1970.
Oh, okay.
I consider this my hometown.
Okay.
And people joke about it being an awesome town. It is. Okay. It really is. I mean, you have to nitpick for problems that this have, and you're going to ask me what some problems are, so I'm going to have to nitpick and find stuff. And there's always problems. There's 275,000 people out here. There's always problems that you're going to have to try to fix. But this is a beautiful place. It's a great place to live.
You mentioned AYSO and the Sheriff Station. Talk to me about some of the things you've noticed in the community and through your community work, and some of the work that you've done there through those organizations.
Well, I also was on the Measure V Citizens Oversight Committee with the Hart School District several years ago for the bond measure.
Okay.
So they were constructing high schools then and improving the ones that we had. I was on the disaster coalition out here that mainly did stuff with the fires, the local fires, and earthquakes are coming, and they'll have to do stuff for that too.
Absolutely.
I was on the American Red Cross Council from about several years, or like 2005 or 6 to 2010. We did a hometown heroes breakfast that I'm proud of, and it got a little bit bigger each year, and it went to the Hyatt, and we celebrated 10 or 12 local people that were nominated, and we celebrate them as heroes doing something noble or very...
What type of work were you recognizing with that event?
It was people there was a lot of different categories, like juveniles, and there was first responders and medical and education and seniors, and it'd be someone who... the classic thing that they save somebody's life using CPR. But there's also people like Carrie Lujan won it, and people like that. They're very involved with, people with drug problems or action.
Sure. Talk to me what you see as the priorities for City Council. You'd mentioned, everywhere has issues. Where do you see the issues as priorities for this City Council?
Well, The main issue, I would say, is the people. You have to take care of the people here. And when I first moved to the station here in 2008, I noticed, because you read the log every day, there was several suicides per month. So I studied it. I researched. I went back a few, and this town has about 19 to 25 suicides every year. And that's a big deal for me. So that's kind of a mental health issue. I mean, there's other reasons why people do it, and I really kind of researched it a lot. There's a lot of reasons, but mental health is part of it. So I would try to provide. I'd meet with Carrie Lujan, some of the Henry Mayo Mental Health, Olive View, and whatever other assets we have to get resources to try to help these people and the families.
And I know one thing we've covered in the past, and you can probably speak to this from your experience, is that this area has one of the higher prevalences of mental health issues in Los Angeles County, right, as far as North County response and incidents for the Sheriff's Department. At least it was more recently, and as far as like increasing resources for the mental evaluation teams and all of that, that's been something that the Sheriff's Department's been working on.
I don't know if we have a higher level than anywhere else, but our community and the Sheriff's Department out here and the Fire Department out here and every other group out here is very responsive to the needs of the people. So you're going to really, we're going to know the stats on it. We're going to really react to it. We're a sensitive community out here.
Can you talk to me about one example where you've seen in the past where you think City Council has really done a great job, and maybe one incident where you would have done something differently maybe if you were on the council?
Well, Newhall rehabilitation or redevelopment is excellent. It's beautiful. It's really moving along. It's kind of a long process, but it's really beautiful. It's a good thing. I see your station has moved here, and there's some really nice places here, so it's very good. For improvement, the senior center, my mother lives in Friendly Valley, and there's a big community over there, and that's nice. And we need to do more for the senior center. I know they've done something in the past, and I think there's still more to do.
More programs and more outreach?
Right.
Or?
Well, services for them, so people, they have stuff to do and they're not bored. And lastly, traffic is a problem. Right. I know they've addressed it, and we've added a big Cross Valley connector, and there's a connection that just recently went off. So we need to deal with the traffic. We have a lot of fatalities with pedestrians, and maybe some education programs to help people slow down and distracted and not cut people off.
Sure.
And maybe there's some ways. I would talk with the city engineers, the traffic engineers, and what other ideas can we have, and maybe I try to spring some ideas to them and see if it works. Awesome. I know they've been playing with it for 10 years.
Yeah,
so.
And it's always going to be an issue, and it's always going to be something we can work on, right?
We have high density. We have a lot of people.
Awesome. Well, Lieutenant Mark Hershey, thank you again for coming down here and talking to us about the issues and your application for City Council.
Thank you so much. It's great being here.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.